Welcome to the Chronicles of a Christian Drama Queen podcast. I am your host and the original Christian drama queen, Lisa Schaefer, and I'm glad that you are here. I can promise you that I know what it's like to think like a lover of Jesus, but live like a hot mess every day. And if you can relate, you're in the right place. Everything from the craziness of homeschooling my kids to overcoming deep wounds of abandonment and abuse as a child. Stay with me, sister. I have walked down those paths, and I've got decades of healing and hope that God has called me to share, so here we go. I have been the Christian drama queen for some time, and I get questions all the time about this. What is it that makes me a Christian drama queen? What does a Christian drama queen look like? Well, today is the day you get some answers. We're going to assess the behaviors and thoughts of broken and discarded women. How can you know if you are a drama queen? Well, just a little bit of background. I know some of you have been following me, so you've probably got some of this background, digested already. I was abandoned by my father at a very young age, and I have written about that in a Bible study. But the thing I want you to know about that today is it had impact on my life. It had impact on my choices, my decisions, my beliefs about who I am, my beliefs about who God is. Fatherlessness has an impact on children. It does. I'm not exactly sure how much more I can say it, how much harder I need to press that button, but I'm telling you, fatherlessness impacts people. It impacts children at a young age. Fatherlessness for women can be catastrophic in that the value they place on themselves in relationship to other men in their lives is impacted by their fatherlessness. So these are the things that we're going to talk about today. We're just do this little questionnaire. By the way, this is going to be a free resource. I'm going to make this available. If you want it, let me know. I will send it to you. It's just a little bit of an assessment. It's basically, how can I know if I'm a Christian drama queen? How can I know if fatherlessness or if my trauma has impacted my choices in life and is impacting my thoughts about myself and about God? So we're going to assess behaviors and thoughts of the broken and discarded. And listen, everybody I run into is in this category. They are broken and discarded. Many times just broken, many times just discarded, many times abused, abandoned, neglected. And they carry the burden of that. They carry the scars of that with them as they go through life. So these are just a few things. This is a one-page assessment. This is not all of it. But these are some of the characteristics that I have found, not only in my own life as a drama queen, but in many of the lives of the drama queens I have worked with over the course of the last 40 years. So let's talk about some of these traits. Some of these characteristics. You might be a drama queen, a Christian drama queen, if you feel unwanted and unloved and you act on that. When there's a father who could have been around your whole life, you notice lots of other families who've got daddies with them, in them, and you notice this, you can't help but wonder, well, where's mine? And why didn't he stick around? Right? So feeling unloved and unwanted is incredibly common. It's not just common for the fatherless, it's extremely common for the abused. All right? And we act on that unwanted feeling and unloved feeling. You might be a drama queen if you have trouble following through. You have passions that arise and things that you want to do and goals that you want to set, but you don't ever get to the finish line. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why you don't follow through. You have internalized the thoughts that it won't matter for you because you will still be unwanted and unloved, uncherished and unprotected. Have you ever felt or you've experienced a trauma that would label you abandoned, or abused or neglected. Many of the people that I have talked to over the course of the last 40 years of walking through my own journey of figuring out how to be a discarded daughter and figure out that God does not, He is not the heavenly duplicate of my earthly father. See, that's a big deal. We think that God, our heavenly father, is a lot like our earthly father. That's your first experience with fatherhood, right? So when people keep labeling him the heavenly father, you might have a tendency to feel like he's not there. He's absent. And maybe you've actually experienced abandonment and abuse and neglect. And many of the people that I've dealt with over the course of the last 40 years that struggle with their relationship with God, they can say, well, I was abandoned. I was abused. I've got trauma and I'm not forgiving what happened to me. I'm not dealing with it. I have no peace. Maybe you have no peace. You have no peace. You feel like you've done everything you need to do to have it and you don't have it. How about insecurity? You wrestle constantly and you probably strive to be a bit of a perfectionist. Do you wrestle with those feelings of insecurity? Do you struggle with anger? Ooh, man, this is a big one. Because I can remember being just angry for no reason at all. At least in my mind, I thought there was no reason at all. But it stemmed from a really deep place of unforgiveness in my heart. Do you get restless easily and you feel like you got to make a change? You know, like we have lived, I kid you not, in the 38 years my husband and I have been married, I think we have lived in like 15 different places because we'd live somewhere for a couple, 3 years and then we get restless. I would get restless. I'd say, come on, we need a different house. We need a different yard, a different neighborhood, a different lifestyle. We need something different. And I'd get restless and I'd need to make a change. Why is that? Why is there no contentment where I'm at? Do you feel that way? Are you a people pleaser? You have a lot of trouble saying no. I talk about this in my book as well, how I'm just an enabling parent, man. I just hated to tell my kids no. I thought they wouldn't love me if I told them no. And listen, Christian drama queens do this all the time. We're very needy, and we want people to want us to be around, right? And because we want to be around, we want them to want us to be around. We think if we don't perform properly, we don't do the things that we need to do to please other people, then you won't want us around. We won't be valuable to you. We're desperate to be valuable. So do you have trouble saying no? Do you find yourself being a people pleaser all the time? Listen, Christian women are notorious for struggling with this because, well, we're supposed to serve. We're supposed to always say yes. Listen, that's a quick way to drive you to the loony bin. Let me tell you, here's a beauty. When there's conflict between you and your spouse, or you and a friend, or man, you and your kids, do you feel like you have to have resolution? You have to have an apology, a heartfelt, broken apology from the person who's inflicted pain on you, whether it's your kids or your spouse or a friend. No matter what, you've got to have resolution. You want that situation to be solved. You are not walking away from the problem. It's going to get dealt with, and you're going to force other people to deal with it too, because you've got to have resolution. Do you have a fear of being left out? Like this group got together and there was only room for 8 or 10 people and they hit that limit and you never got invited? Do you feel like you've got to have friends? Why don't people love you? Why don't they like me? Do you take responsibility for the poor choices that other people in your family make? Especially for me, my kids. They do something they shouldn't have, and I immediately blame myself. I was snapping my finger. I immediately blame myself. What could I have done different? Listen, sister, I'm going to give you a clue here. You are responsible to God for the way that you raise your children. Truth. But here's another truth bomb for you. They are responsible to God for how they turn out. Do you blame your children's failures on yourself? Do you have trouble trusting others? And more than that, do you have trouble trusting God? No matter how many verses you read, no matter how much time you pray, do you doubt that He really cares and that He really wants the best for you? Could He really love you the way He says He does in all of your sinfulness? Do you have trouble with that? Have you ever looked for love in all the wrong places? Maybe you did in the past. You're not doing it right now. Maybe you are doing it right now. I don't know. Have you ever looked for love in all the wrong places? Have you looked to physical intimacy to create that love that you're supposed to be getting from a father? And maybe you have a God-shaped hole in your heart and life, and you keep trying to fill it with a whole bunch of other things to create what you think will be love. Have you ever done that? Looked for love in all the wrong places? places? Have you ever tried to fill that God-shaped hole with addictive things like drugs and alcohol? Food. What about food? Oh, sister, better raise your hand. Don't be lying. You know how we do. We get in a fight with the 14-year-old and we're heartbroken. And what do? We run to the kitchen because we quit smoking and we quit drinking and we quit doing drugs and we quit listening to hard rock music. We run to the kitchen for a ho-ho or a ding-dong, right? Because we try to find comfort in food or other addictive substances. Here's the last one today. I cannot forgive those who have hurt me, even if it's myself. Is that you, sister? You can't forgive those who have hurt you. You're mad at them. You're bitter at them. You've had you've experienced trauma because of them, and you can't let them go. You want revenge, and you don't understand why God would let it happen. So you can't forgive them, and you can't forgive him for letting it happen. Is this you, sister? Or maybe you just can't forgive yourself. I got another truth bomb for you. How dare you hold yourself unlovable and guilty of sin that a heavenly, holy, perfect God has already told you you have been forgiven for? Who do you think you are, right? So those are just a few things that you might want to think about if you wonder if you are a Christian drama queen. You might be. You might be walking a faithful life with God and you are struggling day in and day out to live like a lover of Jesus, and you don't understand why it's become so difficult when so many other believers in your circle seem to be able to walk a Christian life without the drama. Why you? Why can't you get it together? I want you to keep coming back to the podcast because we're going to keep talking about this. We're going to talk about all of these subjects. If you determine, based on what I went through today, that you are a Christian drama queen, you need to talk to me about that, and we need to work through these struggles. We need to find a way to break the bondage of bitterness and find freedom and forgiveness. And you can do it. I've done it. And I've helped other people do it too. So don't give up. Don't give up. You can do it. That's going to do it for me today, guys. Thanks for joining me here on the Chronicles of the Christian Drama Queen podcast. You can find me at ChristianDramaQueen.com. You can email me at lisa@ChristianDramaQueen.com. And you can find my Bible study, Discarded, the Daughter's Journey to Reclaim Freedom and Forgive the Father Who Left Her Behind. It's available on Amazon, as well as the undated planner that goes with it. And you can also just email me, lisa@ChristianDramaQueen.com. We can talk more about getting one of those to you. Also, don't forget, I am going to be participating on the new streaming radio channel, convictionradio.com. You will be able to hear my stories, interviews with folks who have struggled and been forgiven and been redeemed. Lots of fantastic healing that's gone on there. I'm real excited about this. Keeping It Real with the Christian Drama Queen, going to be on convictionradio.com starting May 3rd. Come back and see me again next week, guys, and listen, share me with your friends. You know I love you.